Okay, so to continue, I found a simple Chinese face mapping or face reading chart that'll continue the physiognomy series that we began with the really crappy physiognomy simple chart that I also found. Soon enough, I'll translate or figure out how to translate that one Italian text from this one Italian physiognomist who breaks down the characteristics way more specifically. But for now, that book remains only in Italian and I cannot find an English translation. Anyways, here's the simple, very simple Chinese face reading map. So, I'm going to go category by category, examining your face and seeing what this chart has to say about your facial proportions. But before we begin, I'm going to take some small measurements of your face, okay? So first things first, let's take the holistic approach to your face. I'm going to be measuring the proportions or zones of your face, measuring them in thirds to see which proportion is the largest compared to the other ones, or if it's in harmony with one another, if it's balanced. So stay still. I'm just going to go in and just sort of give you a good little measurement right there. Okay, and then kind of divide it down into the 3 parts. Okay, there we go, 2 and then 3. Okay. Interesting. I'm going to take this tube of lipstick and I'm just going to mark you up. There we go. 3. Okay. I'll wipe it off once we're done. So, from what I can tell or observe, the top portion of your face seems to be a little longer or a little has more mass than the rest of your face. The middle area seems to be the smallest portion of your face, and then the lower portion seems to be kind of like the second largest aspect of your face. So medium, short, tall. So according to according to this chart, the upper zone, which is the zone that you have the most mass in, is the zone responsible for youth. It indicates luck and youth, especially if it's rounded, voluminous face, free from blemishes. So if your face on the top of your head is free from blemishes such as acne, deep-seated wrinkles, moles, or any type of blemish, and it's well-rounded, meaning that it's not caved in and that it's not kind of low or sunk into your brow, then it indicates luck and youth. In your case, that's what reflects in your face if you were to go to China. Then, in the middle zone, this is the smallest zone of your face. So, it is going to reflect harmony. If it is well shaped, it indicates health, energy, and power of personality. So, because that is the smallest area of your face, those traits might be not necessarily what you convey the most. So, your personality might be a bit more subdued. You might be a bit more shy or introverted, reserved, and when it comes to health and energy, you might require caffeine or some sort of stimulant to get you going through the day. You might not naturally generate a lot of energy on your own, and consequently, that can affect your health. So that's what the chart is trying to say, or at least your face is telling me in Chinese. Your face is speaking to me in Mandarin right now, and I'm just interpreting it back to you. Now to examine the lower section of your face. So the lower zone, when well proportioned, indicates destiny past middle age. So, the lower section of your face is going to reflect destiny past middle age. What exactly your destiny is past middle age is currently still a mystery, but it at least tells you that you're going to have a destiny past middle age. Let's just hope it's a destiny that is filled with prosperity and health. Now, let us examine the cheeks. So, ideally the cheekbones should be even, sculptured with smooth skin. There are 4 distinct types of cheekbones, which have the following significance. So 4 different types of cheekbones. Interesting. I kind of struggle to know what type of cheekbones I have, so I'm very interested to see if this can kind of give me a little bit of insight into that. So, the number 1 category of cheekbones is high cheekbones. This indicates a strong personality, someone who is extroverted, managerial, and compassionate. I do dislike this common idea that authority comes with a lack of compassion. I think oftentimes, unless someone is failing in their position of managing, a manager, an effective manager, is inherently compassionate because they are in charge of their own little squad or team. It's kind of like a general, like you want to encourage fraternity among soldiers, among your ranks. If your soldiers despise you, then you failed as a general. Likewise, in any position of authority. If the public hates you, you failed at your position of authority, leading them. So that kind of makes sense why it is that they have that sort of really striking appearance where it's almost like it just gives you this statuesque sort of like goal, basically, when it comes to a face. So well sculpted, but yet they also have compassion to them. So I kind of see the balance that they're trying to strike there. Number 2 are low or hollow cheekbones. So high cheekbones would probably rest right about here. That's where you could see the bone basically being prominent. Other times it's, if you turn to the side, you can kind of see this sort of like indent, such like this, where the bone is clearly sticking out. Low cheekbones sort of sit down to the bottom here. They sort of sag down here, and oftentimes you'll see a ridge right about here naturally. Usually that's kind of a hollowness where typically those nasobonial creases develop, when you get older. But if you have low cheekbone, then you naturally have sort of like sagging cheeks. So that indicates a weak personality who is uncertain and restless. So if you have low cheekbones, then you're kind of in the mist, in the confusing ether of just not knowing where you stand. Then the 3rd category is lean and hollow. This indicates a reticent personality, a reticent personality. I forgot what reticent means. In fact, I'm going to Google it right now. Give me one moment. Let's see. Reticent. Welcome to English 101. A reticent personality means someone who doesn't reveal their own thoughts or feelings readily. So, that's the meaning behind reticent. Someone who tends to hide their feelings and thoughts. So a reserved person, someone with lean and hollow cheekbones. So what would that look like? Lean and hollow cheekbones. Oh, interesting. So typically, it's people who don't have those fat pads inside of their cheeks. So that sort of like Marlene Dietrich kind of look where it's like, this is someone with lean and hollow cheekbones. So those are the type of people that kind of hide their feelings and thoughts and have more of a reserved personality. Kind of like Barla, how could I forget his name? The guy who played Frankenstein. Karloff. I can't recall. And then lastly, the fourth category of cheekbone is flat, which indicates negativity, insecurity, and adaptability. So flat cheekbones, I think, is where I fall. I think flat cheekbones. Let's see. I think so. So flat cheekbones. Yeah, basically flat cheekbones are where it sits on top of your cheek. You turn to the side and it's just kind of like flat. It's not pronounced as such, but it's also not sunken. So, negative, insecure, yet adaptable. Now, we're going to cover some areas of significance. Oh, let me kind of measure your cheekbones here. I'm going to use this lipstick yet again to measure out your side profile. So if you wouldn't mind, face my right, but not entirely. Kind of turn your body 3/4 in that direction. Okay, good, thank you. Okay, I kind of can tell that you have high cheekbones, just based off of the curve that appears on your cheeks when I drew it on. Boris Karloff, got it. That's the guy who played Frankenstein. So there it is, it kind of like appears. So with your high cheekbones, you are someone who has a strong personality, extroverted, managerial, and compassionate. So congratulations, that is what you convey. Now, the areas of significance. There are 12 areas of importance which, according to Chinese face reading tradition, relate to specific aspects of life. If these areas appear well developed, bright and healthy looking, and are free from blemishes, it is said to be a fortunate sign. So, we're going to go one by one through all 12 categories. There's also a little text at the bottom that says, the area between the nose and lips forms a depression, which can have a special significance. This little philtrum right there. According to ancient Chinese beliefs, its length indicates the lifespan of a person. If it narrows towards the nose, it can indicate a difficult childhood. If it narrows towards the mouth, a person might face difficulties later in life. If it runs parallel, a person's whole life will be harmonious. So let's check your philtrum first, and then we'll check the 12 different areas of your face. So just look straight at me, don't make any face, don't make any sort of like, relax your lips. I'm just gonna look at your philtrum. I can tell that it's a little bit thinner at the top, and then it thickens out towards your lips. So that indicates that you're gonna have difficulty later in life, correct? Now, difficulty in your childhood. So when it narrows towards your nose, it's difficulty in your childhood. When it narrows towards your lips, it's difficulty in your later life. So your mouth is the end of your life, and your nose is the beginning of your life. So because your philtrum narrows towards your nose, that means you had a difficult childhood, but because it widens out towards your nose or towards your mouth, then you're going to have a more prosperous future. Now, let's examine the different categories of your face. First, we're going to examine your home country and see what your relationship is with that one. If there's no blemishes in that area, then you have a very good relationship with your home country. So, your home country is located in these two spots right here. So I'm just going to look at those little spots, see if there's any moles, any acne, any scars, any lines. Nope, nothing there. It looks like you're very well adjusted to your home country. There's nothing here that is amiss, so very good. Number 2 is your political and managerial life. So I guess how you navigate your worldview, or at least how you take control of that. So that's going to be right here in the middle of your forehead towards your hairline. So I'm going to see if there's any blemishes there, see if any wrinkles or acne or spots. Nope. Okay, good. Next, we're going to examine your fate and your destiny. We've touched this on a couple of times, but let's see. Fate or destiny. That we're going to find right here in between your brows. So I'm just going to look through your brows, or at least in between your brows. Let's see if we can find any blemishes. There's a little bit of a wrinkle in between your brow. We'll examine the significance of wrinkles in different cultural interpretations, but yeah, there's a little bit of a wrinkle right there. So you might be having some struggles with your fate or destiny before you. Next, we're going to examine your affection and sense of health. So these spots are located on the bridge of your nose. So let's see if there's like any blackheads or acne or oil buildup on the bridge of your nose right here. No, your nose looks pretty clear. So your sense of affection and health should be well taken care of. Next, we're going to examine your sense of fortune and your material wealth. So let's see, that is category number 5. That's going to be at the tip of your nose. So if you have a blemish or a mark there, a mole, acne, then that means that your sense of fortune and material wealth will be negatively impacted. So let's see. Nope, you're pretty much all clear in that category too. It looks like material wealth and good fortune will fall upon you. There's nothing obstructing your way. Next, we're going to examine your virtue and your integrity. This is right about here in these sections of your forehead. So we're just going to examine your sense of virtue and integrity. In this case, they are not mutually exclusive. If you have integrity, then you try to live by your virtues, and vice versa. When you live by your virtues, then you have integrity. People who have no virtues are usually not sincere people, and people who are insincere have no virtues. There we go. Fortunately for you, you do seem to be someone who is sincere because there's no blemishes, wrinkles, spots, marks, or anything obstructing your way, or obstructing that energy from flowing from your face. Next, we're going to assess your sense of home and homeland. What is your connection to your identity and your ancestry, and how cozy do you feel in that? So that's going to be right above your brows right here. So let's see if there's any marks or blemishes on either side of your brows. But it looks like they're both pretty clear, so you're good in that respect. Next, we're going to examine your assets and your capital, so what you've already accumulated, which is right here. Let's see, raise your eyebrows for me, please. Okay, good. I'm just gonna see if there's any small little marks or anything. No? It looks like you've acquired a bit of wealth for yourself. Congratulations. Quite a significant feat in this day and age, when the entire national system is basically stacked against you in trying to make sure that you can't generate any long-term wealth. Now we're going to examine your emotional happiness. This is right here at the edges of your eyes, your emotional happiness. So I'm going to see if there's any sort of tear stains or crow's feet or moles. Okay. Yeah. I notice a little bit of tear stains here, so I can note that there's a bit of emotional unhappiness. And let's see on this side. Yeah, there's some tear stains over there too. So there's a bit of emotional distress. My condolences. Then we have category number 10, which is love of family. Love of family is going to be found right here on these 2 points. So home and country, this one is political and managerial, and then these 2 are love of family. So it's interesting that the love of family is in between your political view and your sense of home and country. They're intertwined. So let's see. Someone who has an unhealthy sense of home and country will have an unhealthy sense of their political view, and consequently an unhealthy view of family. So there's no marks or blemishes in those areas. So very nice, very good. And then love of children, which is right here underneath your eyes. So I'm just going to look underneath your eyes and see if we can examine anything there. Okay. Yeah. You have no marks or blemishes, but they are a little bit indented, a little discolored. So I would highly recommend taking better care of your energy and your health, considering how that's something that you might be struggling with. Drinking more water, getting proper sleep, perhaps exercising a bit, and you'll find that those bags underneath your eyes will remedy themselves a bit more. And lastly, number 12 is assessing your professional relations, seeing how well you integrate with those who you're responsible for or responsible around. Those categories are right here. So I'm just going to see if there's any blemishes there, any hormonal mood swings, because whenever you have a breakout there, it's usually due to hormones. And no, you're all good in that department. So we've assessed the holistic form of your face in Chinese face reading, or at least a very simple idea of Chinese face reading. We will cover the individual features tomorrow and see what each one means or reflects in you. Each category roughly has about 4 to 5 subcategories. So once again, it is simple, but I hope you enjoyed this face reading, and I hope you take from it whatever you wish. So yeah, in any event,